Do you ever find yourself drawing a character and everything seems great until you get to their head? Something just seems off. Is it their shape? Is it the way the features are lined up? Something's off and you can't really put your finger on it. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about heads, proportions, and some pitfalls. So, overall shape of a head, we're just going to start with a very simple circle, and I'm going to have a front and a profile idea here. So I need to find my center lines by finding a little cross section. So for the profile, it's good to note that about the halfway point between the center line and the outside, you need to draw another little circle, and that's a flattened area for your temple. And to find the jaw is essentially go from the midline back and mirror that length, and then that's going to give you essentially the size of your shape. Now we'll go over different shapes later. Now for spacing and proportion, this is pretty key. So if I have my basic head shape, I need to find my center line, and then my other midline that is going horizontal is my eye line. And that's going to be my halfway point of my head. Now between my eye line and my top of the head, that's my hairline. Between my eye line and my chin, that's my nose. And then between that and my chin is my mouth. So once you have that, you can then drop in your brow line, which is important. And then between your center line and the outside of your head is where the center of your eyes are going to lay. Now something to note about the eyes is that your head is about 5 eyes wide. Knowing that, then you go from the inside of your eye, and that meets the outside of your nostril. Now the center of your eye is approximately the outside of your mouth. And then your eye line is where your ear meets your head. The top of your ear is on your brow line, and then your nose line is where your bottom of your ear meets your head. Now, something to note is when you're doing all of these measurements, and I'm doing this in profile, you need to make sure you're paying attention to the overall form. If you skip straight into detail, you're gonna come up with something that looks very weird and very wonky, and you're not gonna know why because you technically followed all of the spacing guides. So I'm gonna do another profile in more of the box method so you can understand that I need to block out all of my pieces with my measurement lightly in order to then move forward and then throw some detail on it. Because once everything is in place, then you throw the detail on and then it looks correct. Now if you're doing the box method again and you want to do a 3/4 method, you need to remember that it's not a full box at that angle. That makes it too wide. You need to turn those boxes into rectangles in accordance to the perspective that you're drawing the head in. Now, some notes about the top and the bottom. When you're looking at the top of the head, remember the temples and the sides are flat and they taper downward, and your face is flatter than the back of your head. Your jawline is shaped like a horseshoe. And so you need to remember that when the head is at a different angle. So like I said, when it comes to the head shape, knowing where the proportions lie allows you to be able to stylize these different heads in whatever style you want with whatever shape you want, because you know where everything should line up, and it allows you a little bit more freedom to play with your proportion and to play with your overall form. Now with that, why don't you go on ahead and get out there and go practice. Thanks for watching, y'all.